The context here is the war with Iran and the various feelings about that war. Israel may be in a different place than the United States on that, with Netanyahu very much saying the war's not over yet. With us now, CNN military analyst, former NATO Supreme Ally Commander James Stavridis. He's also the author of a brand new book, 2084, a novel of future war, because we need fictional stories about war right when we're in the middle of real ones here, Admiral. But I'm sure it's wonderful. You are a terrific, terrific writer. I want to put up a picture of the Strait of Hormuz, which is still very much closed this morning, as President Trump says that Iran's offer, counter-proposal on peace, is totally unacceptable. Admiral, you've been at this a long time. How surprising is that? The U.S. waited and waited and waited for the Iranians to respond. They thought it was going to be Thursday, then Friday. It didn't come Saturday. Finally, it came yesterday, and the president didn't like it.
Iran invented the game of chess, and you can see them playing pretty cleverly. They don't actually have a great hand of cards here, John, but one of their true life skills in Tehran is negotiating. And so they're going to string it out as long as they can. Look, I think President Trump has three options very quickly. He can kind of walk away from this, throw up his hands. I think that's tempting, but not the right move, since it would leave the strait in the hands of the Iranians and all the nuclear material still probably at the bottom of a shaft in Isfahan. So not a good option. A second option, he can resume massive bombing campaigns. And, I think that is increasingly a possibility here if his frustration level rises. And then number three, where I think this probably lands better than even chance, you continue that blockade, you put more economic pressure on the Iranians. Maybe you do some targeted strikes to eliminate the, shall we say, intransigent elements in the Iranian Revolutionary Guards that appear to be driving the train from Tehran. Some combination of all of that, but it's as unsettled as it's been since we started dropping bombs a couple of months ago, John.
Yeah, it is interesting because the United States, some officials were indicating they thought the blockade would have worked weeks ago at this point, but still hasn't forced Iran's hand, at least not yet. So the president this week, a fascinating trip, right? The president is going to China to meet with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Now, there are some people who say that Iran will be a major subject of discussion here, but my question is Xi, is he mostly concerned about Iran over here, or does he have his eyes glancing south to Taiwan right there, Admiral?
Well, first and foremost, recall that President Xi is a strategic thinker. He kind of plays the long game from everything I've seen. So I think the short answer to your question is both. He sees Iran as a prime source of hydrocarbons. He's getting oil at a significant discount. He'd like that to continue, but he would also like the opportunity to put more pressure on what he regards as the rogue province of Taiwan. So I think both of those are going to come up, but I'm not looking for any geopolitical breakthrough in Beijing, John. What I think we're going to see is two leaders who will pretend to like each other a lot. There'll be some minor deliverables, maybe a little less tension on the trade and tariff front. No big breakthroughs one way or the other, but it'll be great theater watching the two of them on the Great Wall of China, in the Hall of the People, in the Forbidden Palace. Look for some great photo ops, not a lot of substance.
It is quite a picture to see. That is, at the end of this week, we'll be watching and listening very carefully to readouts from both sides to see how they align. Admiral James Stavridis, congratulations on the new novel. Thanks so much for being with us. Kate?